Yes, gentlemen, another very important issue, gun violence. And let's try to be realistic about this rather than sort of platitudes. But Mr. Ashew, during a campaign event with Steve Forbes, the well-known billionaire businessman, you said you were willing to review the nation's gun laws as a result of the shootings in Orlando, Florida. You said, quote, "We can't let tide-bound political positions keep us from constantly looking at whether we're doing the right things, not just on this, but on everything." So what are you willing to review seriously, and what changes do you think can realistically be made?
Well, I have reviewed it, and
Okay.
the incident we were talking about in particular in Florida is one where gun laws do not need to be changed. Look, I'm a defender of the Second Amendment. I'm a gun owner, NRA member, and I belong to a gun club not far from here in Hooksett. And I support the Second Amendment because it makes us safer. That doesn't mean we shouldn't look at the laws we have now. The fact of the matter is, in most cases, we have overreach on the laws we have now. The question is, what can we do about the horrific tragedies that we've been seeing in the face of our opposition, and Carol Shea Porter will be one of these, who immediately looks to restrict the rights of law-abiding Americans when that simply won't answer the problem and staunch the violence.
Any solutions in mind?
Well, clearly we have a mental health crisis in this nation and in this state. New Hampshire used to be known as a leader in terms of mental health care services, and we're not seeing that now. A lot of that is driven by the opioid crisis, but it's driven by other things as well, and we need to pay attention there too, as well as certainly focus on our intelligence capabilities.
All right. Back to the
All
panel,
right,
John.
Congressman, without talking so much about your record of protecting the Second Amendment or how much of a Second Amendment supporter you are, could you answer, are there any circumstances where you would expand background checks or limit the types of weapons or ammunitions that can be sold? What sort of circumstances, if any, would prompt you to go along with that sort of thing?
Well, let me tell you, I am a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment. I am very proud that the New Hampshire Firearms Coalition graded me an A in supporting my candidacy. Unfortunately, they graded my opponent with an F. I also am pleased to have the NRA endorsement. I think it's in part because not just the comment that you quoted, John, but at the WGIR debate, my opponent specifically said that he was for, and I quote, gun control. He said it, it was his own words. I was just as shocked as most listeners at the time. Here's what I would do. I was a mayor of our state's largest city. When Mike Bloomberg asked me to get engaged with his gun violence organization, I said no. Here's what we did do. We worked with the Manchester Police Department. We went after criminals. And what we saw was a reduction of guns on the streets, and we saw a reduction of violent and property crime, as well as a reduction of drug crime. There are 48,000 cases that the U.S. Attorney General has before her that have not been litigated for people who are trying to illegally buy a gun. A total of those 48,000, 44 were prosecuted. If you go after that existing law, you can take 48,000 criminals as well as those illegal guns off the streets. That's not being done by this Attorney General.